Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs, welcome back to Terraria. Today we have a couple of things to do. First and foremost, why on earth have I had this gravestone in my house for so long? That was the King Slime! Of course, I remember now. Okay, so up here in the storage unit I've had for a little while one of those golden cross gravestones, and I decided to put this one here just because I was testing out the edit function and I made it say you're making a grave mistake, which I thought was a great pun. But now I can put two of them like that, and neither of them are going to say anything right now, but at least they look kind of symmetrical. Today is going to be a building episode, if you didn't already know, but first of all I want to test out a couple of things. I'm freshly back from the dungeon, having got a bunch of stuff there, and I found I had a bone wand. I also have another golden key, so I can go and open another chest, which we might do today if we have the time, but this bone wand says it both consumes bone and places bone, and I'm not entirely sure what the deal is with that. Is it a weapon of some kind? Because I can swing it like that, and I don't know if I can actually attack stuff with it. It sort of highlights like that, but I think what you can actually do is place bone blocks and then pick them up like that, which is something I didn't realise you could do before, and it didn't give me the option to craft bone blocks, so maybe you have to place them and then you can craft them from something else, because it said you could craft wall but not blocks. But where have those gone in my inventory now? Have they just turned back into bone? Maybe they have, because it says it's a material, right? But then you can throw them, you can't. So this is basically something that allows you to place them. Oh no, wait, they're there. So I don't understand. Right, that's something that I will have to figure out. I'm going to open up these presents real quick because I read on the Terraria Reddit, which I visit occasionally. I don't want to spoil myself for too much content, but I read that occasionally. And I've read that if you get a snow globe, you can summon basically like another goblin army, but it's called the Frost Legion. And that is supposed to be an achievement for beating them or something like that, but it looks like we're not going to get to do that today because I've not encountered a snow globe. I have a candy cane sword, by the way, which has been in there for a little while, but is not any better than any of my other swords. I also have a ton of coal, and I don't think you can really use coal for anything. It doesn't say it's a material or anything like that, so going to leave that as it is. I'm kind of interested to try out this blue moon because it seems to have better damage than anything else I have encountered so far. So how about we take a quick trip over to the dungeon. I'm going to find another chest to unlock, and we'll see if we get anything cool from that. And then after that, we're going to build some more NPC housing around here so that some of the friends we've encountered around the world can join us over here at our little settlement. Wait. Before we do that, before we go over to the dungeon, I realised that I recorded the last couple of episodes right after I released episode, was it 13, 14, something like that, where I picked up the rocket boots for the first time, and then somebody said you can combine them with the Spectre boots, and I went, oh great, I can do that. I got myself the Spectre boots, and then immediately recorded 2 episodes, and then in the meantime people were saying, wait, you can combine them with some other stuff as well, including some of these ice skates. I think they were one of them. You could combine it with the Anklet of Wind, which I already have, and apparently an Aglet, which I have somewhere, and I can't remember where I put that one, so you'll have to give me a minute while I search for it. It might even be in the piggy bank, you know, because I have put a couple of things in there, but they said if you combine it with the Anklet of the Wind and the Aglet, which is, yes, it's this one, that makes them even better. So we're going to have to try that out as well over at the Tinkerer's workstation over here. And let's see what we can do. So we'll need to take those off for a start. And then there we go, we've got lightning boots, where I can run incredibly fast and still fly. So that's the Anklet of the Wind and the Aglet. Add those, and then we get frost spark boots, which allow flight, super fast running, and extra mobility on ice. So I will take those, and let's see if we can quickly combine them with anything else. It doesn't look like we can. Can we do flippers as well? Nope, don't think we can. I will have to have a serious look at some of the stuff you can do in the inventory. I should have combined those with the arcane ice skates so I could get the mana boost as well, but I don't think we'll need the mana boost for now, so I will take those off, seeing as they're not allowing us any additional buffs, and I suppose the extra mana would help, but it's not absolutely essential, and I have other accessories I can use, and I will stick these ice skates in here. For now, let's stack the stars. Let's get rid of these bone blocks. See, this is why I need to either build some stuff or reorganize my storage system, because that place is looking a little bit full. We can put crafting materials, gems. Where is the gadgets? I think this is dyes and gadgets down here, and I'm going to put those in here. I also got this voodoo doll. It says Clothier voodoo doll. I'm not sure what that's about, but that's something a little bit sinister. Maybe we will save that for another time. I think I got that from the dungeon in the first place. Right, let's take this key over to the dungeon now, for real this time, and see what we can find in there. Welcome to the dungeon, and Sheena is still here. And I'm pretty sure she doesn't have anything extra to sell, not to worry. Let's grab a couple of the banners and stuff while we're here, may as well. Not planning on grabbing a huge amount of stuff while we're in here, because today is going to be building 101, or maybe 102, or maybe even learning to build for the first time myself, because I need to do a little bit more, and I want to do some more stuff around the village. It's going to kind of be a village by the time I'm done with it anyway, that's my hope, but I need to figure out how to stop these guys firing at me through the blocks. Let's go for a nice easy chest like this one. How about that? Okay. Oh, we've got a cool looking sword. Okay, loot everything and magic mirror. Hey, there we go. All right, that was a quick escape. What is this? Bone welder can be used for special crafting. Okay, fair enough. Extra bone stuff. What do we... Molten Legion flag, we got those. This is an awesome looking sword, it sounds like. Not any better than the phase blade, but it's green. And I think green coloured items, like all of the names I've discovered, are related to their rarity. So like all of the name colours and stuff relate to how rare an item is. And if that is green, then that means it's slightly better, because my Frostspark boots and stuff like that, those are green as well. Maybe it's not as green, though, so I'm not sure. But that's pretty fast, right? We can slice that butterfly in half super quickly. And you can kind of like... Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty quick. That's pretty quick. This one's fast, that one's very fast. So... kind of makes sense. You could probably get a little bit more DPS, I don't know. There is a practice dummy you can make, apparently, which shows you how much DPS you get. I think that's how it works anyway. But for now, we're going to work on a little bit of building here today, and we'll probably do a little time-lapse in a second. What I wanted to do, what I'm thinking about doing, because right now everything is kind of on like a flat plane. It's very much on the flat ground. What I wanted to do was make sure there's a little bit more height variation in here by building up from the ground, probably with some dirt, because dirt block will make it look like it's at least kind of natural, you know? And what I want to do is make some artificial areas that are like this bit over here, that have kind of like a cave-like aspect to them, but they have a tunnel through them. And so we can build on a few different levels. Now we're going to have to build up from the ground in order to do this. So we'll start off kind of coming up here, and obviously the grass is going to have to grow in eventually. But what I want to do is have various little platforms out here on which we can build houses, and have them kind of quite close to these houses, so everything looks like it's kind of intentionally placed there. And if we... yeah, you can kind of create shadowy areas inside of there, which is going to be important for creating depth, I think. So I'm going to play around with this a little bit more. We'll see what we can come up with. And obviously the important thing is to keep the area underneath here kind of accessible. So there are going to be ladders and steps and things that go up here to make it look a little bit more like these are natural parts of the environment without them having to... you know, make them still accessible without them being kind of too far away. That's the plan anyway. So let's figure out a way of getting some grass up here. I don't know if you can grab like grass seed or anything like that, so it may just have to be brought up in stages from the ground down here. We'll see. Right, I'm going to get to work on this, and I'll chat to you guys again when we have something a little bit more concrete. Gosh, grass takes a long time to grow in this game. Alright, we're going to nip down here a second and talk to a couple of people, because I realised that I have got myself a little bit more gold now, and so I might even... There's a doll that looks very similar to Harley somewhere in the underworld. I'd like to put a few rounds in it. Well, that's a little bit rude. We have enough. Do we have enough? We have enough to buy the mini shark. He's also got some unholy arrows, which sound like they would be kind of useful against some of the stuff I found in the dungeon, but we got ourselves a mini shark, and there's the achievement. There we go, and that is apparently deadly. Awesome stuff. Right, well, we'll swap that out for something later. We've got this Undertaker, which apparently does more damage, but is not as fast, and doesn't have this extra chance to consume ammo. So there's got to be something valuable about this mini shark that we can figure out for ourselves later. I reckon we should give it a try. We need some more musket balls as well, so let's talk to Daryl again and grab a few more rounds. Yeah, use up all my money on that, because we can go out a-shooting with this here mini shark and see what we can do. My cat is on my lap right now, and he's weighing down my right arm a little bit, which is making it kind of difficult to explore. Did I just put it away? I must have just put it away somewhere. I think I put it in the piggy bank when... Yeah, I meant to put away just that one. Swap it out for the space gun. Deadly mini shark. There's a Santa Bunny in my house, which I'm going to keep for now, for as long as I can. Probably until the next blood moon happens and creepy stuff gets in here. But look, this grass is growing really, really slowly right now, and I'm loving the dynasty stuff. I am going to build a bunch of stuff with this if I can. I like the idea of having like a little kind of temple type structure up here. It's kind of what I was going for when I designed this monument over here, and a little bit when I designed this too. So I might end up doing something kind of similar, but I want it to be living quarters for a bunch of different people. So there's going to be different rooms up in here and stuff. It's going to be a taller structure and just kind of taper very slightly as it goes up. That's the plan anyway. I might end up even building out another one like this and making it a little bit wider or something, or perhaps on the opposite side. We'll see. I'm enjoying building it though. I really like the way that looks. It's all kind of coming together pretty well, thanks to whatever merchant brought me those dynasty materials in the first place. Let's find something we can shoot though, because I get impatient. Boom. Okay, so it's not doing a huge amount of damage, but that is very, very fast. It's almost like machine gun rapid fire kind of thing. So as long as we keep in stock with the musket balls, and apparently you can get different ammo for those as well, so sooner or later we should be able to grab some better ammo, and then we'll be in business. Where are you, Daryl? There you are. Let's grab as many of these musket balls as we can. The other thing about the mini shark is that you can combine it with other stuff. I've already seen a star cannon in here, because if you go to crafting and put in a fallen star, I was basically looking for other stuff I could do with these, because I have a ton of them now and not much use for them other than crafting mana potions, which now that I've used some more of the weapons that use mana is a little bit more, you know, it seems like more worthwhile. But there is this star cannon which does 60 ranged damage and shoots fallen stars as ammunition, but you have to have a mini shark to craft it. You do that with meteorite and fallen stars. I could do this now if I wanted to, but I have a feeling the mini shark has even more potential, so I'm going to drop it in here and see if any other crafting recipes come up. Okay, there's a mega shark. Mini shark's older brother. 50% chance not to consume ammo. We need illegal gun parts, we need shark fins, and we need souls of might. Okay, so those are going to be kind of more later in the game kind of things. I haven't seen any sharks. I assume they're out in the ocean. I also have a shark statue, so maybe I could get some sharks from that. But, oh, look at that though. Sorry, I'm going to be distracted here. The campfire is just lighting up those dirt blocks really nicely. I wonder if I can do some kind of lighting effect next to the temple with that, maybe. I already really like the fact that these dragons look like they're shooting out flames from their mouths with the torches being like that. I'm considering using different kind of torches on there just to make that effect stand out a little bit more. This is me in build mode, by the way. Like, we've done a lot of adventuring in recent episodes, so I feel like it's time to get some build on. But yeah, I'm excited by this mini shark thing, more than I expected to be, just because of how fast it is. So maybe we'll have to have a go with that. And I have some flaming arrows from somewhere as well. I'm not sure where I picked those up, but apparently I did. We'll get rid of the seeds, because I don't need the blowpipe. I'm not really using the blowpipe all that much. So anyway, let's get on with this build. I might incorporate a little bit of bone into the build here and there, if I can, because that seems kind of cool. I also need to have some wooden pillars on the go in here somewhere, just to kind of prop all of this stuff up. But we can work in the bone blocks here and there, and maybe we'll come up with something that looks a little bit interesting. Well, it's not perfect, folks, but it's a start, and I really like this little build here. We've got room now for 2 more NPCs, and I've kind of been taking the advice of a couple of people online and saying build NPC houses a little bit smaller, just so you have more room to squeeze everybody in. So Jay the Angler and Sheena the Mechanic should now be able to move in here, and maybe we'll pick up a couple of other people along the way if we continue building this structure upwards. But the grass has spread, that's the important thing, so we're going to take away this little kind of dirt patch that I added up here. We're going to let the grass spread across to the other side for a moment, because that way it should be able to cover both sides over here. And there's definitely a couple of other things I can do to make the place look a little bit cooler. I want to add in some of the shelves like the ones we found in the dungeon. I love these doors, by the way. These fantastic like blue doors that you get from the Dynasty wood. I'm only pausing here in the construction of this build because I'm running out of Dynasty wood and I don't want to completely cover the entire thing in Dynasty wood and then not have any left to kind of fill in the walls and stuff like that. And for that, we're going to have to wait until one of the travelling merchants comes back, because he was the guy who sold it to me in the first place. But not to worry, we can definitely work on a couple of other things, and I want to, let's quickly roam around the outside here. I've added in the bones there. I kind of want to have some pillars kind of going up here, but they'd be wooden beams just so I can actually walk past them without anything getting in the way. And I think I have some of those up here in my building materials chest. Let me quickly head over to that. There's planked walls there, wooden beams. There we go. And then in the background, I want to be making stuff like they've got with the dirt walls and the kind of leaf walls in the overground caves. Now, I'm not sure if I can actually harvest these like leaf walls over here. I don't think I can. I can't harvest them like that, but when it comes to getting this stuff, no, it's not dropping any blocks, you see. Anytime I try and harvest that, I'm going to try and make that symmetrical so it actually looks like it's worth... There we go, like that. So it's actually doing something over there, like a little pattern. But yeah, I need to work out how I can make those. I know for sure that I can make dirt wall, because that always appears whenever I've got dirt blocks in my inventory and I stand near a workbench. So we can do a couple of those, but I've not found any way of harvesting leaves yet, because all of the plants you gather turn into other stuff. Maybe you can do it with vines? I'm not sure. But for now, we're going to make some dirt wall. And this is the kind of stuff you can't gather from existing dirt walls in the real world, but apparently if you create them as a player, then your stuff stays there. So that's kind of what I wanted to do here. Have like a little kind of dirt cave wall, so at least it looks like there's something holding this up, and then we can add the wooden beams in underneath to make it look like the building is supported and kind of has foundations that run into the ground over here. That's going to look pretty cool, I think, just in terms of making this area look a little bit more natural, like it's existed this way for thousands of years or something similar. Grab me a bit more dirt wall if you please. Let's craft some of that. Definitely getting used to the crafting interface a little bit more now that I've played a bit more of this. And I haven't done a huge amount of crafting because a lot of what we've been doing is exploring, but I'm definitely getting used to it for sure. And yeah, potentially this will kind of expand a little bit further in that direction, but for now we're just going to leave it at this, and then maybe take out a little bit of this wall at the bottom here. See, now that's dropping it, you see. That's the way we want to do things. Now, where did I put those wooden pillars? They're right there, and if we drop those down kind of underneath where those are, then that at least makes it look like they kind of have a foundation further down, and they blend quite nicely. Let's take out this tree stump finally. I know everyone in the comments has been yelling at me to do that for a while, but that at least is going to make it look like it's kind of, it blends in with the background quite nicely, and we can hang some little interesting details and stuff from the underside of here. I definitely want to add more lighting stuff like that, especially if it's going to make this cave look nice and a bit cozy, you know, a little bit more cozy. I've kind of left this bit here open, so it looks like it's got a doorway of sorts, but obviously this isn't going to be any kind of functional doorway right now. But our two friends have moved in, which is very exciting. You know what, this house needs more blinking lights. I guess maybe it does. Maybe that's the kind of thing that she can sell to me. So these pressure plates activate when a player steps on it. Can I put these in front of the doors? Because I really want to be able to open doors without having to click on them all the time, and I think that would be kind of a useful thing to do. Nope, apparently not. Maybe I have to wire it to the door or something then, but yeah, I would really like to be able to open doors without having to right-click on them all the time. Some kind of automated way of doing that would be really nice. Because walking through here, I tell you, when I've got like a zombie siege going on and there's stuff to defend, it's a bit of a pain. So, I don't know, maybe we can figure out a way of doing that between us. I'm going to put some platforms in here so I have something easy to jump up onto. And do I have enough wood to do that? I think I do. And then let the grass grow over that. So at least now I can get up there without having to like jump around the entire structure, you know? But this is good. This is definitely a start. I've got these two lamps which I can place either side of the door like that, and that lights it up nicely. That gives it a nice frame to the door as well. Maybe we can throw in a couple of other blocks here and there just to make it look nice. But that is going to be it for today's episode. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. It's something a little bit different from my Terraria series, but if you're liking the way this structure is coming together, leave a like and show your support for the series. My name has been Pixlriffs, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye for now.